If I turn it up loud enough, I can sing country music, and that's about it. Because it's low, it's flat, you know. Half the time they talk, they don't actually sing, at least the guys. So, other than that, don't ask me to sing. It's bad. It is bad, bad. It was a pleasure meeting you, my friend. Out here, Secret Service, I see you. Yeah. Actually, maybe you're my bodyguard now. Yeah. They gave me the Britney Spears mic, so. Oops, I did it again. I am actually right, but not about myself, because. No, this is not it. Number 4. I grew up in the suburbs. My parents were overly religious, but that's Texas. I moved to Colorado. Coming back. The end. Yeah, half a chapter, maybe. Someone joked about the Britney headset, and I was like, I'm like, those don't look like Britney headsets. Handed me this, no. I'm like, that is the. Oh. Here we go. Hey, hey, I got voluntold, so now I'm doing it. And if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it my way. That's all I'm saying.
I had no home to rely on, driving around in a passenger van, dreaming of when I'd ever begin to start my life. That's when I moved to the city to be on the stage, but the curtain had closed. You walked in the room, and that's when I knew that I was home, and my life will begin. Didn't believe it was true till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. Had no direction to move till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. You took a flight from the desert to take up a room with a mutual friend. Couches and wine and everything's fine. Just one day at a time, and it gets you by. I didn't believe it was true till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. Had no direction to move till I met somebody. I met fading away till I met you. I was just notes on a page till I met you. I never imagined the day when I'd meet somebody like you. Couldn't believe it was true till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. Somebody like you. Somebody like you. I didn't believe it was true till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. Got a lot of lessons left to learn, but I'm not even close. Through my inhibition, I've become quite sure that I love you the most. That this could be the easiest thing if I'd let it, but I'm too afraid of losing it all. 'Cause if I leave everything on the table, then you might break my heart. But I know a love like this doesn't come around every day, and I just can't bring myself to give up right now. Not this way, 'cause I love you and I wanna hold you when we're old and gray. Oh, a love like this don't come around, don't come around every day. Every day. I've never been quite sure of myself or anyone else, but here I am with you. So I put my hesitations on the shelf, 'cause this is what I choose. This will be the easiest thing if I let it, and I can't be too afraid to fall. So I'm leaving everything on the table, and you can have my heart. Oh, I know a love like this doesn't come around every day, and I just can't bring myself to give up right now. Not this way, 'cause I love you and I wanna hold you when we're old and gray. Oh, a love like this don't come around, don't come around every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. So I'm leaving everything on the table, 'cause you can have my heart. Oh, I know a love like this doesn't come around every day, and I just can't bring myself to give up right now. Not this way, 'cause I love you and I wanna hold you when we're old and gray. Oh, a love like this don't come around, don't come around. No, a love like this don't come around, don't come around every day. Every day. Oh, every day. Every day. I thought we could both use some change, a newer perspective to see how life looked in a different lane. But here in your arms I can't leave now, 'cause I don't wanna let go of this. Got lost somewhere along the way, chasing the grass that looked greener, lost sight of my reason to stay.
Good morning and welcome to Crossroads. Happy New Year. Will you stand? We're going to sing together to start our morning.
Winner wins their division. Buffalo has a chance. If they win to win a division, if they lose, there's a chance they're out. No kids, you know that.
You're the horizon, the bright, the glimmer that breaks the constant night. You are the brilliance, the dream, the evidence of things unseen. Even the darkest days are temporary. You are the everlasting light. All of the time and space could not contain you. You are the everlasting light. Sing this with me. You are the glory that stays. You never dim, you never fade. You are the power, the truth. Nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. Even the darkest days are temporary. You are the everlasting light. All of the time and space could not contain you. You are the everlasting light. Even the darkest days are temporary. You are the everlasting light. All of the time and space could not contain you. You are the everlasting light. The end and the beginning, the new reality outside my understanding, but still within my reach. As far as I can see you, you're closer still to me. You are the everlasting light. Sing that again, end and the beginning. The end and the beginning, the new reality outside my understanding, it's still within my reach. As far as I can see you, you're closer still to me. You are the everlasting light. The end and the beginning, the new reality outside my understanding, is still within my reach. As far as I can see you, you're closer still to me. You are the everlasting light. Even the darkest days are temporary. You are the everlasting light. All of the time and space could not contain you. You are the everlasting light. Even the darkest days are temporary. You are the everlasting light. All of the time and space could not contain you. You are the everlasting light.
All right, all right. Wonderful song. You all may be seated. Thank you so much. Well, howdy, friends. My name is Jordan. I am one of the volunteers here at Crossroads, and we're so glad to have all of you here. We say this every week, but we want y'all to know that Crossroads is an open and affirming community of people following the peacemaking path of Jesus in our everyday lives. This peacemaking path leads us to intentionally work towards ending the 5 unacceptable truths that destroy peace on earth, which are spiritual emptiness, poverty, fear of the other, illiteracy, and modern-day slavery. We're working to replace them with spiritual vitality, financial and physical flourishing, education, and freedom. This is what we mean when we say hope is here at Crossroads Church. This morning, we're all invited to participate fully. We'll sing together, listen for wisdom, share communion, experience the divine mystery, have some fun, of course, and leave encouraged and equipped to walk the peacemaking path of Jesus. As you came in today, you should have received a program. If not, put a hand up. One of our room hosts will come by and bring you one. If you're part of the digital community, just open your phone and go to the Crossroads app, click on the weekend section, and you can get all your regular weekly resources like talk notes, giving envelopes, links, and your Connect card. The app is the best way to stay connected here at Crossroads. Everyone go ahead, take out the Connect card or click on it if you have the app. If you're a regular attender, hit the, put your name, email address, and check the regular attender box. If you're new here, well then welcome. We're so glad to have you. Please check the I'm new here box and fill out as much information as you're comfortable with. There's no pressure. Also, be sure to hang on to the Connect cards until the end of service because you might want to add some things along the way. If this is your first time connecting this morning, we have a gift for you. It's a book called The God We Never Knew. It is especially helpful if you are dissatisfied or deconstructing your way of thinking about God or related beliefs that no longer make sense to you or have caused you harm along the way. If you are new here on your way out in the auditorium, make sure that you grab a copy from one of the tables in the back, or better yet, you can come see me by the Fresh Perspectives banner in the atrium for a little meet and mingle. I would love to meet you, answer any questions you have about our church. So if you're new here, please come say hi. I've even opened myself to scrutiny today. So if you're connecting digitally for the first time, just fill out the digital Connect card and check the box. Send me a copy of The God We Never Knew, and we'll ship that to you this week. Now, one of our core values at Crossroads is giving generously. We have lots of ways to donate to the peacemaking work here at Crossroads. There's the giving envelope, texting, the website, the app. Those are all convenient and safe ways to give. If you're a guest today or in the process of exploring our church, please don't feel any pressure to give. Of course, you're more than welcome to donate, but financial giving is an opportunity for our members and regular attenders to fund the peacemaking work of our church and to live in the joy and power of generosity. Your donations are helping to rewrite those 5 unacceptable truths and create peace on earth through our programs and partnerships. Now, it is group season once again, so we want everyone to find a place to connect, whether if it's through our volunteer groups, our study groups, or any of our other group opportunities. And just so y'all know, I'll go ahead and highlight 2 of them for you. First is our Thursday conversation group. Every Thursday evening, people gather to discuss the week's sermon topic. This Thursday, the conversation group will be back starting upstairs, 6:30 in the living room. Second is the Fresh Perspectives group. Fresh Perspectives is a wonderful opportunity for you to explore big topics within the Christian faith with new eyes and rediscover a faith that you can love. This 8-week series is coming back starting Thursday, January 25th. In your programs, you'll find a current group's brochure that outlines all the many opportunities you have to connect this season. Each group listed has a corresponding code. The easiest way to sign up is to just write the corresponding code in your Connect card whenever you turn it in. That's all that I have for you right now. I know that was very long-winded, so thanks for sticking with me through that. Grab your talk notes, and Jimmy will be up here in just a minute with a new installment of our teaching series, A Vibrant and Vital Love. Thanks, y'all.
The band are all volunteers that are giving their talent and their time each week, so I'm so thankful for that group. Also, the other thing I would like to do is our music director, Kia Retta, that's up here leading the music every week, just does an outstanding job with the band. But I don't know if you know, but she doubles as our communications director. So that wonderful app that you see, she's the one updating that and doing everything. So can we give Kia Retta a round of applause? Well, good morning. My name is Jimmy. I'm the executive pastor here at Crossroads. Carol Scruggs, or as I grew up calling her, Grandma Scruggs. As I was listening to Ryan during the online-only service last week, I had to ask myself, who do I know that displayed a vibrant love without a fear of consequence? And that answer for me was Carol Scruggs. See, she was born in 1925, in the middle of the Great Depression. She lost her father at a very early age. He actually took his own life so that the life insurance would be able to feed that family in a time of struggle. Carol's first husband was a fighter pilot, and he was shot down and killed in World War II. She married again to my grandfather, but unfortunately that marriage ended in divorce early on. My parents are amazing in my opinion. My father is a warm, caring, compassionate, loving man who sacrificed for years to provide for his family. And I honestly believe, I really do think that Carol Scruggs did a great job raising him. And she did so as a single mother, working hard as a civil servant. She was able to succeed in a male-dominated field. She displayed a sharp mind, and it saw her promoted many times throughout the course of the years. She did remarry my grandfather, and actually I grew up knowing that they were married. I do have admiration for my grandfather as well, a Navy veteran and survivor of a kamikaze attack on his ship during the Korean War. But it's my grandma Scruggs that showed love to me in a way for which I can never possibly express enough gratitude. What I saw was a woman that on occasion, many occasions, she would be at the grocery store with me and she would buy groceries for a single mother that was in line there. She always said, pay it forward. Carol was a woman of faith. She was religious in some ways, but she was also discerning in her faith. She read her Bible, but wasn't so enamored with it as to take everything she read as unquestionable truth. Instead, she would look for wisdom. In all honesty, after she passed, her Bible had many pages that were torn out. And we had a revelation that she had removed an entire book from the Bible. That is a story for another time. The love that she displayed, though, was not a blind love. But it wasn't love out of fear. I really miss her. Late in her life, I went to church with her, and this was after my grandfather had passed. And during the service, the pastor actually called for an extra offering to be taken, saying that the largest contributors would be able to pick the hymns. And I promise I'm not going to ask for an extra offering today, everybody. But I saw my grandmother reach into her purse. I saw her take out her checkbook. I saw her scribble a check. But then I saw her put it in the basket with this grin on her face. And I have no idea how much that check was for, but the pastor came back up and announced that he was gleeful that there were several different contributions. But he said one was amazing. And he said, Carol, thank you so much. Would you like to pick the hymns? And my grandmother was close to 90 now, and she stood a little bit feebly, and she looked around the room. She had always had her eyes on the mature single men that came to church. But as she stood up, she looked around the room and she said, "I pick him and him and him." Okay, the last part was not true. But everything else about Grandma Scruggs was. I figured that after the deep and serious introductions I've given the last couple of times I would up here, I would offer a little lighter note this time. Okay. Now, I am quite aware that it is the last week of the NFL football season and that there are playoff positions on the line today, and also for your fantasy football players, football leagues, I'm sure this is the final week, so this is going to be brief, okay? But now let's get serious, okay? There are currently 182 armed conflicts in this world. 45 of those are what you would consider one-sided violence. I don't think we can gloss over this. This is the reality of dissension and a lack of productive discourse. And much of this is related to racism or nationalism or, well, it's just predominantly about fear. And, you know, according to market research out of Virginia, 1 in 10 relationships, 1 in 10 serious relationships, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a non-marriage, serious relationships are ending nowadays because of political differences. This is staggering to me. The idea that these are not burgeoning relationships, these are relationships, committed relationships with time invested by both people. I assume that when you're that deep into a relationship that you have some knowledge that you don't necessarily see eye to eye with the other person before you would get that far into a relationship. To get that far into a relationship and just have it destroyed by a new conflict's really sad to me. You know, additionally, we're on a slippery slope. We're on a slippery slope that if you are a presiding president of one political party and the House of Representatives is controlled by a different political party, you are likely to be impeached. And I am not making a political statement. I'm not saying who deserves to be impeached or who doesn't. I'm just saying this is a world divided. I'm just saying that it seems like we're beginning to seek harm first. It's a world filled with dualism, right? You're either pro-choice or you're pro-life. Now, I realize that's an issue, then there is some divisiveness there, but we've reached a point where there's no effort towards communication. There's no effort to find middle ground. You're either conservative or you're progressive. And even in that situation, you might be considered within your own political party to not be conservative or progressive enough. So you're either a believer or you're an atheist, a Christian or you're other. You're patriotic or you're not. The dichotomy of ideas is so polarizing that some do not see the value in someone that is not part of their group. There's no lessons learned by the experiences of others. If you're not all in, then you're simply out. Any wavering is a sign that you're not me, you're my opposite. Now, much of this can be attributed to fear of the other, fear of change, a grasping on the status quo, hanging on to what we believe is right. This is not to say that you're wrong, but sometimes we fail to seek truth and we make prejudicial decisions without really checking the facts. Who here knows what confirmation bias is? Raise your hand. Right? That's more people than I thought. All right, good. Who gets the news on their phone? Right? Maybe it's a news feed or maybe it's social media. This is not accusatory, okay? But there can be a propensity for some to pick and choose what they consider is worth reading, right? There may even be a tendency to take at face value news, statistics that support our beliefs and to ignore everything else as fake news. That is confirmation bias. We have to understand that we are fed information on social media based on an algorithm that wants us to keep engaged in that screen for as long as possible, right? Nuance, in many ways, has been lost. We have become trapped in either-or thinking. You've got to buy in wholesale to a belief. The idea of a middle ground, well, perhaps even considering someone a moderate, has been lost. We're at a point where seeking common ground and resolution is really at an all-time low. And without common ground, there's no movement. I'm not saying that sometimes there's not black or white or black, depending on what your point of view is. What I am saying is that before we take the time to draw a line in the sand, we've got to make sure that we've gathered all the information and we've listened to all sides. For those of you that like to fill in your talk notes, here's the first one. So what's the issue anyway? Oversimplification through either-or thinking leads to fundamentalism. When we have a closed-minded, strict adherence to a belief, forsaking any other ideas, we take fundamentalism as the extreme choice. Fundamentalism can lead to intolerance. Intolerance can lead to hate. Hate can lead to violence. Our fear of the other creates no space for the other or for other ideas. Again, this is removing the both and fixating on the either or. If you're not with us, you must be against us. I would argue that while there are some of these things that have existed since the beginning of time, some of this is really new territory. And I honestly believe that that offers us hope. If things have become worse, then things can become better. If Emerson said, the only thing permanent is change. And I think we can dictate the change. We can seek to move forward and not apart. We can look for the space between. And no, that's not a Dave Matthews lyric. I'm not a Dave Matthews fan, but that's another story. So is the space between either or is it both and? And I have to say it must be both and. And many more people more knowledgeable than me have said this through time. Other positive things to consider is moderates did exist, and in some cases, in some situations, they do exist. I'm really not trying to convince you to be a moderate. I think it's okay to be progressive. I think it's okay to be conservative. But there are people that exist in the middle. And you know, what about those relationships that are now ending abruptly? Well, my grandma Scruggs was as progressive as anyone born in the Great Depression. And Grandpa Scruggs was as conservative as a Republican through and through as you'll ever see. But they did exist in the both and, not in the either or. They existed with love and respect and boundaries and caring. See, this series, we're looking at the sermons of Martin Luther King Jr., and just before the assassin's bullet took King's life, they had made plans for a retreat. It was going to be a retreat with Martin Luther King Jr., Thomas Merton, and Thich Nhat Hanh. And fortunately, I only have 17 more times to be able to mispronounce that name. The good news is I don't have to spell that name 17 times. One of these men was a black Southern preacher. The other was a white Trappist monk. And the third was a Vietnamese Buddhist monk. They all felt that nonviolence means could bring social change. And oh yeah, Merton was a big fan of Mahatma Gandhi, a person born Hindi who embraced other religions and nonviolent resistance himself. Here we saw Buddhism and Christianity trying to work together, seeking justice as a common goal, looking to learn from the perspectives of others. These are the type of relationships that can't be forged in the either or. They're found in that space between. They're found in the both and. This is a community of different people finding and fighting for a common cause. The space between can be found if we choose us. It cannot be found if we choose us versus them. So here are some of the words of these men in terms of the other. So first we have Merton on Gandhi. And Gandhi's nonviolence was not simply a political tactic, which was extremely useful and efficacious in liberating his people. On the contrary, the spirit of nonviolence sprang from an inner realization of spiritual unity in himself. King Han, as MLK nominated Han for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1967, I do not personally know of anyone more worthy of the prize than this general monk from Vietnam. He is an apostle of peace and nonviolence. And Han, in a letter to MLK, said, "Martin, you know something? In Vietnam, they call you an enlightened being, trying to awaken other living beings and help them go in the direction of compassion and understanding." See, these were men with different upbringings, different beliefs, different contexts, but they all saw commonality in the goal of humanity and the avenue to get there, and those goals of humanity. See, even today, as divided as we are, we can see hope in the way we react to a crisis. Those of us can be on opposing sides, but when something as horrific as a natural disaster happens, we all come together for the same purpose. So what makes it possible for us to stop bickering in such a crisis? If there's a space for that, can we not find a space to work together in other spheres? See, Jesus knew the need to exist in the both and. He knew that we could make decisions that offered change and offered wisdom in their pursuits. So what does Matthew 10:16 tell us? Let's look for a minute at the way Jesus sends out his disciples into the world. In Matthew 10:16 it says, "Look, I am sending you out as sheep amongst wolves. So be as shrewd as snakes and harmless as doves." That kind of seems impossible on face value, right? The dove and the snake are just such opposites, but that was the example that Jesus expected. He makes this the marching order for the disciples in a hostile world. And I think we could argue that for many today, this is a world of hostility. But first thing we've got to do is acknowledge that this command from Jesus was a both and statement. It's not an either or statement. It's a commandment not only to be as shrewd in our dealings. It's not a commandment to be so passive that we're run over by others in a conflict, but we should not cause undue harm. To be as shrewd as a snake, we need to create boundaries. We're going to have to sift through to find the truth. We're going to have to be astute. We're going to have to be discerning. We need to make sure that we pause. We examine our role in relationships. We have to be cautious, but we have to be assertive. To be harmless as a dove, we must be peacemakers. You hear us at Crossroads speak of our role as peacemakers, the mission of peace on earth, and this is another passage of Jesus setting that example. It's not either the snake or the dove, but it's the both and. There's a space here for us to be both, to be the snake and the dove. We've got to look at the difference between idealism and realism. See, King said, not ordinarily do men achieve the balance of opposites. The idealists are not usually realistic, and the realists are not usually idealistic. See, truth, though, is found in the synthesis that reconciles these two. King elaborates more on the idea by looking at passiveness and assertiveness and humility. If you have the time, his entire sermon is definitely worth reading. I ask you, though, are you an idealist or are you a realist? Are you able to be both and? It's not easy. I tell you, the propensity can be that things are what they are and to not look for what could be better. They can also be that things must change, but we don't look at what is real, and this can be a detriment to evoking change. There must be a balance between kindness and honesty. We can't presume that these are things that are at odds with one another. There's got to be a balance in these in which truth ultimately prevails. The sermon that we're looking at this week from Martin Luther King Jr., so you can find it in that book, Strength to Love, is entitled A Tough Mind and a Tender Heart. And here King elaborates on this scripture of Matthew 10:16 in terms of the ideas of reason and compassion. The idea of being tough-minded and tender-hearted is not either or. It's both and. Being tough-minded and tender-hearted can bring opposites into harmony. See, we got to understand that harmless doesn't mean gullible. King defines this as soft-mindedness, nor is tough-minded about being hard-minded. Allowing that confirmation bias that we talked in the beginning and how we process news. See, that in King's mind was that form of gullibility. It was a soft-minded approach. It was a hard-minded approach. It wasn't the tough-minded approach. So don't miss this. Tough-minded requires us to seek facts. King would say that it requires incisiveness and decisiveness. Tough-mindedness can ask a lot of us. To be solid, hard thinking is not easy. Many, if not most, choose the soft mind because that's the easy way to exist. And tender-hearted is to seek freedom and nonviolent resistance. As peacemakers, we are sent out into the world as sheep amongst wolves, but we're commanded to do so with a vibrant and vital love. while keeping safe, while establishing boundaries, but while we are seeking the truth. So, how can I live this in my everyday normal life? We must have the ability to hold the tension as we seek change. We must have the ability to hold the tension as we seek change. See, following Jesus' command and the example of King, Merton, Gandhi, Han means that we are seeking common ground and that we're not going straight to conflict and contention. There are times when we have to be astute and discerning while we are showing that vibrant and vital love that is both and not either or. So how does this make me a better person and the world a better place? See, peacemaking creates change. I would argue that it's the only way to make a positive, long-lasting, and those important changes in this world. The both and of peacemaking helps us to foster our relationships, whether it's personal or communal. See, both and allows us to love and to disagree. When we list them, we can sift through to find both and that tough mind and that tender heart allows us to overcome the fear of the other and for us to work towards justice and mercy. Let me say it again. Overcoming the fear of the other allows us to work towards justice and mercy. And this is what the world needs most. Justice and mercy through humility, through walking in somebody else's shoes, walking alongside those that are in need, checking our privilege at the door and opening up to new ideas and working towards what matters most. And this is not just about big global issues. This is our everyday life. This is how we impact our workplaces. This is how we impact our educational institutions. This is the impact that we have in our online communities. It's also about our physical communities, both local and global. But it's also about the relationships that matter most to us. The political climate has damaged more than just romantic relationships. It's torn families in half, brother and brother, uncle, aunts, cousins, families torn in half. And that cannot be our desire. Finding the both and the space between is not only about change, but it's also is our path to mending those fractured relationships. The saying is, it works if you work it, and it's worth it. And I believe that to be so, so true. Here in just a few minutes, we're going to partake in communion, and as you can see, the band has rejoined us on stage. And in this next song, the songwriter says, "My doubts and fears don't scare you." And that is love. That is God's love, above the fear and doubt. Can we look past our fear and doubt? Can we look past the fear and doubt of others? Can we move past the fear of the other by finding that both and in the space between? I really do believe that Jesus showed us that and commanded us to do that, and showed us in a way that we truly can. Before that before we sing that together, I ask you, what is God inviting you into today? And on the back of your Connect card, there's going to be 3 check boxes of what God is inviting you into. And if any of these apply to you, I hope that you filled out the front of your Connect card and that you're checking any boxes that you feel led to mark. Maybe you haven't had a chance to get a copy yet, but maybe the invitation is that I will get a copy of A Strength to Love so that you can read these sermons of Martin Luther King Jr. as we move along throughout this series. Maybe the calling this week is to check the box that you want to commit to overcoming the fear of the other and work towards justice and mercy by saying, I want more information about our partners in hope. Or maybe you're ready to learn more about Crossroads, and maybe you'd like to join Amy and I as we start the next Fresh Perspective group on January 25th. We will actually move straight from that Fresh Perspective group into a Way of Peace right after Easter. And if that is so for you, then check the box. Send me more information about the Fresh Perspective group starting on January 25th. So we're now going to share in communion together, and the communion table is not a table of either or. It's a both and table. All are invited, whether you're a believer or a skeptic. Either way, there's no pressure to partake. But please know, you are welcome wherever you are. And communion is also a time of reflection and prayer. So as the band plays and the words rush over you, I ask you consider just taking a pause and reflect on where you are. And if you're in need of prayer, we'll have somebody right up here by the stage to pray with you. And if you'd rather, write your prayer request on that Connect card. Our prayer team will be happy to pray for you this week. You can even ask for anonymity on that card. The communion elements are at your table, or they're at stations located around the auditorium here. They're juice and gluten-free crackers to represent Christ's love. So the table is now open. The body of Christ broken for you, the blood of Christ spilled for you.
Speak to me when the silence steals my voice. You understand me. You understand me. Come to me in the valley of unknowns. You understand me. You understand me. You understand me. You understand me. So I throw all my cares before you. My doubts and fears don't scare you. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. So I throw up all negotiations with the God of all creation. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I understand me. You understand me. Help me reach the faith that's underneath. You understand me. You understand me. You understand me. Will you stand? Sing this with us. Throw all my cares before you. So I throw all my cares before you. My doubts and fears don't scare you. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. So I stop all negotiations with the God of all creation. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. I will rest in the Father's hands. Leave the rest in the Father's hands. I will rest. I will rest in the Father's hands. Leave the rest in the Father's hands. Sing, I will rest. I will rest in the Father's hands. Leave the rest in the Father's hands. I will rest in the Father's hands. Leave the rest in the Father's hands. So I throw all my cares before you. My doubts and fears don't scare you. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. So I stop all negotiations with the God of all creations. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I I will rest. I will rest in the Father's hands. Lift your voices. Leave the rest in the Father's hands. I will rest. I will rest in the Father's hands. Leave the rest in the Father's hands.
In the valley, oh God, you're near. In the quiet, oh God, you're near. In the shadow, oh God, you're near. At my breaking, oh God, you're near. You're near. Oh God, you never leave my anything else could pull us apart. We are joined as one by your love. Hope will rise as we become more than conquerors through the one who loved the world. Height nor depth nor anything else can pull us apart. We are joined as one by your love. Hope will rise as we become more than conquerors through the one who loved the world. Oh God, you never leave my side. Your love stands firm through all my life. Oh God, you never leave my side. Your love stands firm through all my life.
And just let those lyrics be a reminder, as some of you may bow your heads and pray with me, that, through all of our trials and tribulations, God is always with us. It doesn't matter where we're at in life. It doesn't matter who we are or where we're going. God is always going to be there with us. So we say all those things in your name, Jesus. Amen. You all may be seated. So in a couple of minutes, I'm going to invite the room hosts to come forward and collect our donations and those Connect cards. So while you're getting those ready, I do want to invite my friend Michael to the stage with me real quick. For those of you who don't know Michael, he is our Community and Connections Coordinator. Thank you for joining me.
Hey, Jordan. How you doing?
You did a great job, by the way, on the O2 broadcast. A lot of energy.
Thank you. Melissa fed me all my lines as usual. Yeah.
Of course. Well, also, I do need to say, nice jersey. Are you a football fan?
Just a touch. Wait, did you hear that? Did you hear?
That sounded like some booze from people who didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. You know what that sounded like to me? That sounded like the sound of jealousy.
Jealousy. So, if you guys didn't catch Michael and Melissa in the O2 broadcast, you can always go and rewatch it in the Crossroads app. It is available for all of you. Now, Michael, we've got something special going on with a lot of people in this room. Can you give us a little bit more information about that?
We sure do, Jordan. Coming up Friday, January 19th, we've got our second annual Volunteer Appreciation Party. Because, volunteers are the engine that make everything happen around here, whether it's here on campus, out on the community, maybe even beyond that. And, odds are, if you're in the room here, look around, you're probably sitting next to somebody who gives their time and talent somehow with the church. So this evening coming up on the 19th is an opportunity for us to just say thank you to everybody who volunteered with us in 2023, whether it was one time or every week throughout the year. It's gonna be super fun. We're gonna have amazing desserts. We're gonna have entertainment, some of it professional and some of it not, but it's going to be super fun, and we really hope you'll join us.
Well, that sounds super exciting, and between the two of us, only one of us is a volunteer.
Well, that's true, and just in case you couldn't make it, I want to go ahead and bring you a dessert, so I brought you a treat to thank you for volunteering.
A half-eaten muffin. Thank you so much.
One of our amazing volunteers, Norm, who, by the way, prepared all the coffee and tea and lemonade and everything that we're all enjoying this morning. Yes, let's hear it for Norm. I asked him to taste test it, just for quality.
Gotcha.
Because I care about you, Jordan.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that it's not poisoned, and I will set aside my New Year's resolution of eating healthy to enjoy this muffin.
Excellent.
Also, if people are ready to RSVP, how do they do that?
Sure, just in the Connect card, you can check the box that says you're going to attend. And if you plan to bring any kids with you, childcare is available up through 5th grade. Just check the number of kids that will be joining you. And by the way, while you're in there in the Connect card, we do have a few opportunities to serve our volunteers that night at that party. So if you're interested in helping out with that, just write that in on your Connect card and we'll get back to you.
Oh, excellent. Well, we're looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to more muffins, so... Thanks, Michael.
Thanks,
appreciate
Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Go Dallas.
Go Cowboys. In all honesty, I probably shouldn't have taken a bite of this, considering I still have to keep talking. But right now, I'm going to invite our room host forward to receive those donations and Connect cards. Speaking of volunteers, show of hands, how many of you volunteered at one or more of our Christmas with Crossroads services? Awesome. Yeah, big round of applause for y'all. As I try not to choke on this muffin. You guys are so awesome. I appreciate all of y'all. We had a wonderful time together celebrating the birth of Jesus and the hope that he brings to our world. And so with that, check out this recap.
Can you hear the sound of sleigh bells ringing? Can you feel the magic in the air? The sound of choirs singing, the mistletoe is swinging. There's a special feeling everywhere. So have yourself a Merry Christmas and have yourself a Happy New Year. Have yourself a Merry Christmas. Let's make this last through the year. We're gonna spread the Christmas cheer.
Well, as I am staring back at that clock on the wall, I realize it's 11 o'clock, and so kickoff is happening, and people are starting to itch to reach into their pocket to grab their phone and see what's going on. But I do want to thank everyone that invited family and friends to Christmas with Crossroads. You can see from that video what a wonderful time it truly was. So as we walk into the week to come, we like to send you off with a blessing. If you wish, you may stand as you're able. If you'd like, you can open up your arms to receive that blessing. And today I offer this to you. May your week be filled with the promise of reconciliation. May you find a place where your vibrant and vital love can bring the both and into a situation in order to bring understanding. May you feel the promise and hope of common ground that can be found and celebrated. May your relationships be richer and your conflicts lessened. May you experience the joy of giving love and receiving love that is full of life and promise. May we all use a tough mind and a tender heart to bring more peace into this conflicted world. Amen. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful week.
I have to tell you, a few months ago, I went to this thing at CSU, and it was Jared Polis and the Republican governor of Utah.
Losing my cool, breaking my rules. I don't usually get so out of my head, walking the edge. What am I falling into? I mean, I get it. Where do we land? Tell me, is it too soon? Losing my cool, breaking my rules. I'm going crazy over you. I know you say you're not afraid to dive into something. You got nothing to